everybody. Welcome back to the Wrestling Spot. I'm Brett Anderson, and today I'm excited to introduce you to the new head coach of the Grayslake North Wrestling Program, Danny Hicks. This is a big year for Grayslake's North Wrestling Program. After a strong showing last season that included 6 sectional qualifiers, but no state qualifiers, there's a lot of excitement and anticipation as Coach Hicks takes on the head coaching role for the first time. Danny brings a fresh perspective, and I know for a fact that he has ambitious goals for the program. So today we're going to dig into his vision for transforming Grayslake North's wrestling team. From building a culture of success to pushing athletes to achieve what's been just out of reach, the state tournament, getting on that podium. So let's get started. So Danny, your journey from wrestling at Warren Township to competing at the University of Illinois has kind of come full circle as you take the reins here at Grayslake North. So what drives your passion for coaching, and what's made you feel that now is the right time to step in as a head coach?
I think it's just, giving back to a sport that gave a lot to me. And I know that when I was competing in high school and college, having people that have wrestled on that level that I wanted to get to really helped me just kind of believe in myself and also kind of pave that way. So why not give back to the sport that gave us a ton to me, and spending a little bit of time with Jake Jolbs and Phyllis over at Ron Lake. Thought it was time to shoot my shot and just get into a room and lead a program. So happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, we're very happy to have you. As you know, coaching is so much more than just kind of teaching technique. It's about building character. It's about improving mindsets. It's about creating a positive culture and shaping these young athletes' futures. So can you share maybe a defining moment in your wrestling career or your coaching career that has kind of shaped your approach or the approach that you're going to take? And what values are you most eager to kind of instill in these young athletes?
I take a lot from the coaches that have, poured a lot into me, from, Jobs to, my middle school coaches, Wyman and, Weemed and, Jim Heffernan at the next level. I think it's just, you see how much they put into the sport, and they dedicate themselves to not only, the athlete individually, but the entire team. And I think that it just goes to show how much the wrestling community is together. And, without that kind of people to lean on, really don't have any guidance. So, a big thing for me is, you want to make them great wrestlers, great athletes, but if they can be better men and women when they leave the program, I think that's, the biggest thing, because this is all really, sports is just a simulation of life. So if you can be a tough wrestler and get over the humps and go through things that don't really go your way and still succeed, I think it just sets them up for life in a kind of good perspective.
Excellent, excellent. As I mentioned, North had a strong season last year. It had 6 sectional qualifiers, maybe a little bit unexpectedly, but we're still trying to break through at the state level and with getting wrestlers on the podium. So what's your plan to kind of take that next leap with a lot of these guys?
I think, kind of set the tone, like, what do you want to do? You ask the athlete, what do they want to do? Where do they want to be? Then you hold them accountable and, kind of keep the pressure on them every day, but also letting them know, like, hey, you got a goal, so does everybody else in the state. What are you going to do that's going to separate you from the pack? And I think just kind of coaching last year with, the Ron Lake team and getting a state placer, and then the year before that, at Lake Zurich getting a state placer, it's like, kind of get this kind of trend of like what these guys need to hear and see and do to just compete at a at a high level, because it's already a heartland sport, right? So trying to just engulf those guys with a ton of motivation, a ton of technique and just guidance, and after that, you let them fly. So do what they do.
Excellent, excellent. So we know that wrestling requires a balance of physical and mental strength. So how do you plan to kind of structure your practices and your season to develop kind of both aspects?
Yeah, I'm big on testing the mental and, putting them through tough workouts that, it's going to make you uncomfortable, but how can you stay in it and stay focused to, get that takedown, get that escape, or if you're getting it taken to you that day, how are you going to get back on your feet and kind of turn the tables? The mental aspect is really the biggest part of wrestling, but also, too, you've got to have the strength. So pushing these guys to stay in the weight room, doing circuits, those extra body workouts, that's going to help you stay strong in that postseason. So going to really be pushing to, push the body and mind this year for sure.
Excellent, excellent. Team culture is really important in wrestling too. Something that maybe we've struggled with in the past. So how do you plan to kind of create a positive and cohesive culture within the team, especially with the combination that you're going to have of both new and returning athletes?
Yeah, I like to, kind of feed off of what they've done in the past and just try to kind of pivot off that. Can we jump off that foundation? Because, some kids, they don't have that motivation within, but if it's coming from a coach and you can give them a speech or a spiel that's going to, make them want to run through that brick wall. I think that's everything. You know, my coaches used to say stuff to me that made me just feel so ready to go. And some days you're on, some days you're off, but if it's clicking up top and your mental's right, I think they can do anything they want to do. But trying to let them know, like, hey, sky's the limit. Like, there's no names on the brackets right now. Do what you can until the time is there, ready to compete, and then I think that these guys can take it from there. But it does kind of start from home in our wrestling room. Guys feeding off each other, feeding off the smallest wrestler to the biggest wrestler, and just creating that culture from within, so we can kind of feed off of each other in that aspect.
Excellent, excellent. As you're full aware, like it's been a tough couple of years. We haven't been very senior on this team in a while. COVID did kind of a number with numbers within wrestling in general, right? Senior leadership is often key to building kind of a successful team and a program. Now that you do have kind of a senior class or a substantially sized senior class, including my own son, how do you see them playing a role in kind of leading the team this year? How do you plan to kind of empower them to kind of set the standard for the future and the program that you want to build?
Yeah, I want to, instill a lot of confidence in them, and, the leadership is, it's verbal, but it's really kind of, the nonverbal, right? How they're carrying themselves in the halls, in the wrestling room, when they're going through workouts. And I think, if the kids are looking, coming in as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and they're like, hey, this is how, the older guys are doing it that have success. I think it kind of trickles down. So trying to get those guys to be confident in being a leader, and maybe they're not the most verbal, but they can be, showing that action in the room and every day. So I'm really kind of leaning on them to take heed in what I'm saying, what I'm preaching, so those guys can not just hear from me as an old coach when they're thinking like, okay, well, my buddy's doing it, he's a senior, he's doing this, I want to do that, and just kind of feed off each other that way.
Right. The other thing that you see in a lot of successful programs is really those programs kind of thrive on strong support from both parents and the community. That's something that we've struggled with a little bit here. How do you plan to kind of engage the community and the parents in the program to create that supportive environment where you can build success within the team? And do you see a role for them in kind of elevating the program?
Yeah, I think, we're only what we're taught. So if we can, get those parents to see the positive kind of impact that wrestling has on not just their kids, like in high school, but like how we can help them be more successful in life and be more disciplined in everyday approach to life, I think it goes a long way. Like, everyone wants to know that their kid is doing the right things, even when they're not around. And I think that wrestling just making sure that you got to be on time for practices, and making sure your technique is ideal, making sure your weight's managed, making sure you're up on time for events. I think it just shows how guys and girls start to take themselves more serious, and also just kind of gear up, because, again, like, I think wrestling's one of the coolest things. Like, if wrestling's hard, then imagine when they get out and they're dealing with everyday life, right?
Yeah.
That's hard. So if you're sticking with wrestling, you're going to be just fine. So really hoping that those parents can see what we're building here, and, hold those kids accountable too at home, because it takes a village.
Yep, indeed. So one more question for you. What excites you most about the upcoming season, and what should fans of the program look forward to?
We want to win. So I'm big on pushing these guys to be the best version of themselves, and if they can win when it matters in the season, and we go through the ups and downs, I think it's going to be kind of a telltale story of what we can do. So I'm really big on just trying to get these guys to buy into every workout, buy into every speech, and just see what we can do, because, again, like, we got a lot of guys returning, and if we can shock the conference, I'm really excited about that. So I want to bring a championship here for the conference, and that's my biggest goal for this year right now. It's the closest one to us. Obviously, we want to get those guys down to state, but if we can put the conference on notice, that's definitely one thing I want to do this year.
All right. Well, Danny, thanks for your time today. It's clear that the program's in great hands. I know that the entire Grayslake North wrestling community is excited to have you here and see how you can take the team to the next level. So to all our viewers, if you're excited as I am about the future of Grayslake North wrestling, make sure to stay tuned to the Wrestling Spot for more updates and interviews as the season progresses. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Whether you agree, disagree, or have something else you'd like to add, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's keep supporting and growing sport we all know and love. So we'll see you next time. Thanks again, Dave.
Thanks. Go next.
Yep.